Welcome to It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and early 80s. This is Kara Siegel. I'd like to welcome in Paul Richman to the It's Been How Long podcast studio today. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Tara. How are you?
I'm
Good.
doing well. Thank you for agreeing to be on the podcast and taking time out from your shoulder rehab to be with us.
My pleasure. I love watching these, and I'm glad to be able to do it. So,
That's great. That's great. So, as always, what are you doing? What have you been up to? Where are you? What's going on?
I am down here in beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. Been down here now for 34 years.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Nice.
yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I like to say it's God's country. It's just so relaxing, so beautiful. I'm married for about 127, about 27 years to my beautiful wife. We we actually met. I'm very technologically advanced, so I'm gonna even da da da.
Ah, there you go.
That's my wife and I out to dinner a little while back. But we um, we met on a blind date, which
Oh,
was
really?
really cool. Um, we were introduced by a friend of hers, and yeah, I was a token single guy. All my friends were single at the time, and were married. Excuse me, I was the single guy. Everyone was married, and they're like, "Oh, we got to introduce you." So, a mutual friend introduced us. I said, "All right, I'm more than happy to meet her. Let's do me a favor, just send me a picture. Let me, at least know who I'm meeting." Well, that didn't go over well with her. She basically said, "F you, I'm not sending a picture." That was that. And I started dating another woman, and a few months later, right before New Year's, had stopped. Uh, Something happened. We broke up, and I sent my wife, not my wife at the time, but I sent her name's Karen. I sent Karen um, a message saying, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but Laura introduced us. I'd love to get together with you after New Year's." Blah blah blah. She said, "Okay." So we agreed to meet, and actually, her girlfriend came on the blind date with us at first. We met. Um, Her girlfriend left after a little bit. We left the bar that we were at, went to out to eat, sat on a park bench for, I don't know, probably an hour or two after that and just laughed. And she went home that night, called her mom and said, "Mom, I'm going to marry this guy."
Wow.
She knew after the first date. Me, I'm still trying to figure it out if it's, no, I'm kidding. But we were engaged less than 2 months later,
Oh, wow.
and we were married 9 months after that. And now we're married 27 years,
Oh, wow.
all from a
Wow.
blind date. And I'm lucky. I have um, an amazing, amazing wife, partner, however you want to, put it.
Yeah.
I have two kids.
Hmm.
Um, I started late, like I said. So I have my son, Jason. That's
Hmm.
Jason. He's 25.
Hmm.
Um, and like all 25-year-olds trying to figure out life still, or like most 25-year-olds still trying to figure out life. A great kid, just an
Hmm.
amazing, amazing kid. And have my daughter, Jolie,
Hmm.
who is going to be, she's 21, she'll be 22 this year. She's going to graduate from Florida Gulf Coast University in December. She's
Hmm.
graduating actually a half a year early. Going to school for psychology, trying to
Nice.
figure out her parents. You know, um, she is hoping to come back and go to graduate school here in Boca at Florida Atlantic University. Go Owls! Got to say that. Our company is my company that I work for. We sponsor we're the official mortgage provider for FAU athletics. So
Okay.
shameless plug. Um, but hopefully she's going to come back and um, go to school here. But two amazing kids. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. So you're what keeps you busy? You're still doing mortgages and real
yep,
estate?
yep. So I started doing mortgages in 2003. Love the business, still doing it. Um, I also have a promotional products company, all the different swag, that people buy. I've had that company for 11 years. Um, Boca Raton Promotions, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And my OnlyFans page, was still up and running, but I paid people to go and see that. So no, kidding. No, I stay busy with with the
I gotta
mortgages.
say, there's going to be a portion of our classmates who don't do not know what OnlyFans is. Just gonna say.
They're lucky not to know. But
Sorry.
no, I stay really busy with between the mortgages and the promotional products company. It's I'm blessed, really am. It's
And you're
um,
enjoying it. You're enjoying what you're doing.
I
That's great.
love what I'm doing. Got into it because I was a stockbroker for a number of years. I traded stocks for a firm, and after Y2K, got out of it. Just said it wasn't for me anymore, and fell into the mortgage area. And I had been taken advantage of when I got my first property back in '92, I think it was.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what better way to do the right thing than to try and help people, learn about the right way to buy a mortgage and not be taken advantage by some of these other companies.
Yeah.
So it's been a great thing to be able to help people and educate them. It's not
Yep.
just helping; it's educating and making people understand about what's going to happen with the mortgage process.
No, that's great. That's great.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously it's one of the biggest purchases you're ever going to make. And so, yeah, there's just so much information. So that's great that you're involved in
Yeah,
education as well.
yeah, it's
So,
pretty cool.
what do you do for fun? Obviously, you're in the pool now to rehab your
Yeah.
shoulder, but prior to injuring your shoulder, what did you do for fun?
So I used to play a lot of golf,
Okay.
softball, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Excuse me. My son was a baseball player,
Hmm.
played high school, travel ball all throughout the country. Actually was a really good ball player. Um, so I had stopped doing all that to be able to take him and to be involved with him. So stopped playing golf and stopped the softball. And then of course getting older, you aren't able to continue to do those things anyway. Some of the classmates I see are still doing it, but between
Yeah,
a
Gary
number of different
Liguri
people
had to
outlets.
cut back from three softball leagues to two. So yeah,
Yeah, I
age.
used to do two or three a week, before I got married, and then that ended that too. But I love getting in the pool. I love um, sitting on the edge of the pool, reading a book.
Hmm.
I love reading the Ludlum and Clancy, Jack Carr, those types of
Yeah,
books. Just always love that. Huge Philadelphia fan. I'm down here 34 years. I still bleed green for our Eagles,
yeah,
red for our Phillies. I watch every game. I buy the programs on
yeah.
DirecTV or wherever they're at. I watch every game.
Nice,
Watched the Phillies lose last night to the Yankees. We won't get into that, but um, I I don't know. I loved going out to dinner. My wife and
hmm.
I are huge carnivores. So we love, frequenting, great steak restaurants and enjoying a, nice bottle of wine or champagne or whatever. It's just, I don't know. And just one of the things that we like doing together.
Nice.
Um, my big thing is that I love playing poker. I'm
Oh,
a Texas Hold'em fanatic.
oh wow.
Uh, yeah, I love it. In fact, I was supposed to go to the World Series of Poker this past year. The day that I was supposed to leave, we had torrential downpour down here. I-95 flooded, airport shut down, all the flights were canceled, and I had a tournament that I was supposed to play in the following day.
Oh wow.
Supposed to go out there and couldn't get a flight out and ended up having to cancel my trip. And then
Oh
of course I
boy.
had the surgery a week later, but
Yeah.
um, it
I think
was
I've seen on Facebook is it Bruce Kramer has done that as
yeah,
well.
Bacon Bruce. Bruce has a bacon jam.
Oh, does
Bruce
he?
lived in my neighborhood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'd be
Okay.
a good interview too.
Yeah, I
Um,
just thought about that. Should reach out. I think he's done a lot with poker, right? Is he?
I
Have
think
I
he
seen
has.
that? Yeah.
Um, but it's such a great time. I could sit there for 8, 10 hours playing poker and just
I
get
would have
lost
to
in it and not
advise
even
that. I
realize.
would have to advise against that as a physician involved in musculoskeletal pain
I
and
get up and
injury.
I do get up, I stretch, I walk, stuff like that. But that's my true um, pastime. Love to do it, and I can't get enough
So
of
have
it.
you ever played with Karen Higgins Camarada?
No, but I am ready to when I come back, hopefully uh, for our reunion,
Spring reunion. Yeah.
to somehow get in a
Okay.
game,
All
and
right. Shout
play
out
with
to
her.
Karen there.
Yeah,
Set
yeah,
you up.
absolutely. Love Karen. Absolutely love her.
Yeah. Um, so I asked this, so you're in Florida. Do you play pickleball before the injury?
So I did not. Pickleball just started, excuse me, what, over the last year, really started getting bigger. A lot of my friends are doing it. Uh, I don't know. So I just had my rotator cuff and bicep tendon reconnected. Um, freak stupid injury, I guess. But I am hoping that after the rehab is done, that I'll be able to. They say a lot of things that you used to be able to do, you might not be able to do after these types of surgeries. So we'll see. I would love to do it, even if it's going to Century Village and playing with the 90-year-olds. Probably have a better chance and winning. But
I don't know. Some of those folks are probably pretty skilled.
yeah, they probably kicked my butt. But I've I've had a number of different injuries over the years. I was actually walking with my wife during the pandemic and actually was hit by a car while I was walking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just crazy. Just my wife was in front of me and she felt something. She turned, saw the car coming, got out of the way, turned around, and there I was on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so it's been a crazy few years, but I am blessed. Like I said, I'm almost 6 feet above instead of 6 feet under. I get to see the sun every day, and see my wife and kids, and so it's good stuff. It's
That's great. That's
yeah,
great.
so
So what kept you
it's a lot of
busy
fun
back
here.
in high school?
High school. Besides being the captain of the football team, baseball team, and basketball teams,
Yeah.
I was actually real shy. I was very shy in high school up until my senior year.
Hmm.
I was in Sigma Alpha Rho, the Jewish fraternity, for a few years.
Hmm.
Got out of that. Um, uh, my senior year, I danced. I actually did Pace Setters, I think it was,
Yeah.
with Karen and a few others. Mike Madron, who has passed a
Mm.
number of years ago. It was more on a um, I don't want to say a bet or anything like that, but we were nudged into doing it, and I always loved to dance,
Hmm.
and I did that. We actually did something with Grease Lightning, or at school. That was my one thing I did with school.
That's great.
Um, yeah, so that was my real thing. I hanging out in Sea Wing. I was in the the disco corner
Ah,
of Sea Wing, and
yeah, that's
uh,
Karen mentioned that to me that you were part of that crew.
yeah, I love the music. I love to
Were
dance.
you at the
And,
winners circle that night
um,
that
I was
infamous
not
night?
one of the escapees. No, I was not one of the or the non-escapees, we'll say, Karen.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't there that night.
Okay.
Um, but actually, after high school, I danced on um, Dancing on Air, which was the TV show that later turned into Dance Party USA.
Okay.
Used to go into Philadelphia. I had met a girl at Valentino's
Hmm.
um, on over by the mall,
Yeah.
and we ended up going on there and danced on there for a number of years. I'll never forget because I was bartending at the Coastline, and
Uh-huh.
people would come in and they'd make fun of me, with the sound of the prequel to the show was whatever the sound was, and they'd come in. But I had such a ball doing it because I love to dance. Like I said, I
Is
was
that on
just
video somewhere? Have you shown your kids?
I have looked. Somebody sent me one a while back. I have not been able to find any more. There are some out there, but I can't find any when I was on there, thank God. But I remember we did the first solo dance, she and I, or
Wow.
couples dance on there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's
Very cool.
um, yeah, it was cool. It was definitely cool.
Right. Did you have a job back in high school?
So
You just said
um,
you bartended at the coastline?
yeah, well, that was out after high school.
Okay.
I did that, but I delivered pizzas for Big John's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, best. They had some of the best cheesesteaks
Yeah, yeah.
around. Unfortunately,
Not there
he
anymore.
ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up losing it. He uh, he was friends with my mother's boyfriend at the time,
Ah,
and they used to go down to Atlantic City at 2, 3 in the morning, and you know, gamble away, I guess. And unfortunately, some people aren't able to manage what they did with it. They got caught up in it, and I think
yeah.
that's one of the stories
Okay.
of how he lost it. But boy, oh boy, that place was the greatest.
Yeah.
Reggie Wu will attest to that because he's a huge aficionado of cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to love the cheesesteaks. I delivered for them for a while,
Well, that's
which was
great.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. So what'd you do after graduation?
So I got accepted at Winthrop College in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I applied there because didn't get accepted pretty much anywhere else. Um, it's actually Mike Kessler, Jeff President, Newcomb, John Newcomb had all
Yeah.
gone there, played tennis. I went because I was accepted. I wasn't really a partier when I was in high school, and I never really drank. So, funny story, I got there and I got introduced to a fraternity. I didn't join a fraternity, but they had something called a Mad Hatter dance, and I never was a beer drinker. But you had to wear a hat, go to the thing, and I ended up going to a thrift shop, found an army helmet, and ended up drinking Stroh's beer out of the army helmet that night. Um, was not a good ending of my night. I
Oh.
remember going back to the dorm that I was staying in, throwing up in my roommate's bed.
Oh.
Somehow he wasn't there.
Thank
And
goodness.
yeah, about a week later, he moved out, by the way. So I had my own dorm. But that was how I got, that was the first time I really drank beer.
Yeah.
Need to say I'm not a big drinker still. So, but I went to school there. I dropped out after, literally before the first year was over. I
Hmm.
was done. Came back, and I went down the Jersey Shore for a bit, hung out in Wildwood. I bartended down in Wildwood at a place called the Stardust,
Hmm.
um, and I loved it there actually because they had two different floors, which was pretty cool. The first floor they had a live band, there that would play, and then upstairs they'd have the disco. And me with the music, I was always dancing behind the bar, so I always had people at my bar, which was great. And I came back. I bartended in Cherry Hill at the Coastline for a few years. Um, was able to really see a lot of people that we graduated with,
Hmm.
and used to hang out there too. I mean, everybody, either there at Kaminsky's or
Right.
Ashante, um, and I just had a great time. And then what, 1990, yeah, 1990, I moved down here to Florida,
Hmm.
and just figured out after a little bit of time, you know, kind of figured out life, I guess. Um, Started working as a stockbroker, NASDAQ market maker, trader, and did that for about 8 years,
Hmm.
8, 9 years. After Y2K, got out of it. I just said I was done,
Hmm.
and then fell into mortgages in 2003. Like I said, been doing that. You know, um, love it. Just really love it. So
That's great.
yeah, it's been a fun and adventurous time throughout things. So
That's great. That's great. Have you had an opportunity to travel at all, either domestically or internationally at all?
so not a lot.
Hmm.
On my honeymoon, we went to Aruba, which was
Yes.
absolutely breathtaking. But we had an uneventful flight, where the plane on the way back felt like it dropped.
Oh,
I don't know, 50 feet. You
yeah, yeah.
feel it.
Right.
So that kind of put a little damper on things on flying. I've been to Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was there for 5 days. The first company I worked for, which was AmeriQuest Mortgage, um, I was in the top couple percentile of sales with the company. They would take us to different trips. So I've been to Hawaii with them. All expense
Hmm.
paid. You go there for
Nice.
whatever. My
Very
wife wouldn't
nice.
go.
Yeah.
It's like a second honeymoon. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm not flying. Forget it.
Oh.
I it was funny. She's like, take one of my girlfriends. I don't care what you're doing. I'm not flying.
Oh.
I ended up taking her brother, who
Oh.
lived in California. He met me out there. We had such a ball. Just drank and had fun, and it was just a really good time. Been to Vegas a number of times. Um, Colorado skiing once or twice, but other than that, not a lot of travel. The only traveling we will do is we'll drive somewhere because
Yeah.
she doesn't like to fly. So
Hmm.
our vacations will go, like we're going in a couple weeks. We're going to go to Naples, Florida.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, to do that. Been trying to talk my wife. I'd like to go to Italy, and
Mm.
I'm trying to talk her into it. So slowly but surely, I think I may be,
Making
um,
headway.
yes, breaking through that wall of resistance. So we're keeping our fingers crossed with that. So
Okay. That's
yeah,
great. That's great. Was there a class or a teacher at East that influenced you beyond your high school days?
you know, um, like I said, I was real shy for the most part in high school, so I don't remember a lot of the teachers. Um, I remember um, Mr. Lascalzo, who was a science teacher,
Hmm.
um, pulled me aside once and just because I was always joking around and
Hmm.
not taking things serious, and he kind of like said, "Hey, you need to start thinking a little bit more about you know uh, the future." I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in high school. What the hell do I care about the future?
Yeah.
I think he was probably the only one. And it's funny because I was working at the coastline one day and he came in and he had left teaching and became an FBI agent
Wow.
and came in and was asking me about somebody, that will remain nameless.
Yeah.
But he's one of those "how you doing" guys, and uh, I just he said, "I know that he's been here. You've talked to him." Da, da, da. I said, "Well, I talked to a lot of people," and left it at that. And but yeah, he came in and worked for the government, and was like, "Oh,
Wow.
talking about thinking about the future and getting serious." Boy, oh boy, that came back to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the only teacher that I really had any kind of, I'd say, interaction with, other than just the regular, day to
Yeah.
day stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
yeah,
So
pretty
did you have
crazy.
a high school sweetheart?
Um, no, not really a sweetheart. I think in my senior year, when I danced in Pacesetters, there was
Hmm.
a really sweet girl. Her name was Sue Smith. She was a year younger than us.
Hmm.
We dated for a little while.
Hmm.
But I never really had a sweetheart. The crushes we all, like everybody said. I saw Katie's, and she said how she had a crush on this one, this and that one, and you know. But
Yeah.
I had my crushes, and yes, Higgy, you were one of those. Um, uh, Carol Becker,
Yeah.
I just absolutely
Ah,
love and still love. She's
yeah.
just an
She's down in
amazing.
Naples area, right? Though
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the summer she's up in Massachusetts, but she's usually hangs out there, yeah. So you
yeah.
have friends, so clearly, either through Facebook or whatever, you got friends from East you're still in touch with?
Yeah, so my best friend in high school, Bill Guerrero,
Hmm.
he and I still talk and chat, and he came down here a couple times. In fact, his daughter went to FAU for a little bit,
Okay.
and when he came in to drop her off, we got together. I went when I went back home. Uh, I met up with him and a couple other people. Brian Lane, we've gotten together a number of times.
Can you reach
Eileen
out to
Cohen.
them individually and ask them to?
I am going
Okay.
to.
All right. Thank you.
Um, Eileen Cohen, which
Yeah.
Eileen Racher.
Yeah.
Um, she's amazing. Dave Janowski, who's been on.
Yeah.
Uh, Dave Rockman. We've been in a fantasy football league for the last, I don't know, 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, Carol Becker, who I love.
Hmm.
She's an amazing, amazing person. Great stories.
Hmm.
Her husband is amazing as well.
Yeah.
Daryl Kroll.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
gotta reach out to Daryl. Yeah.
yeah, she's great. Marcia Kaplan
Hmm.
Wapman.
Yeah.
She's a realtor down here in South Florida.
Okay.
Wayne Grimm, he's a chiropractor down here. He does chiropractic work with equestrians, with
Oh,
horses
yeah.
and with animals and with people.
Wow.
Um, Joe Collins, who actually we were great friends in high school. He was a year behind us. I do a lot of work with him, but he's just a great guy. And another guy, um, sad on this one, Frank Getson, who was a year in front of us. He graduated in '79. I was in Toys R Us one day, and I'm like, look at this guy. I'm like, you look so familiar. And I said, your name Frank? He's like, yeah, Paul and Frank. And I'm like, it was just amazing. Just he's one of those disco crew guys, and
Okay.
he his son and my son became best of friends.
Oh.
They played baseball together. They traveled together. They played Maccabi baseball together.
Hmm.
Um, and he ended up passing away a few years ago.
Yeah.
Just the
Sorry.
nicest guy. And Bob Fox, Robert J. Fox,
Yeah.
uh, actor extraordinaire, star of Bikers versus Werewolves and Mob Humor. I've seen him a few times. He's quick story with him. I have so many different lovely stories, but my stepfather had passed away years
Mm.
ago, and I put something out on Facebook about I needed enough. I didn't have enough men for a minion,
Yeah.
and I put the address. And you know what? Bob showed up out of
Mm.
nowhere.
Wow.
I love this man.
Yeah.
Um, you you don't find a lot of people that go out of their way sometimes, and I hadn't seen him for years.
Hmm.
and showed up. In fact, I
Oh.
still have my stepfather's burial flag. I have it here in my
Hmm.
office, and it's my way of talking to him. He was in the Navy, so my
Yeah.
way of talking to him, every now and then. So, but yeah, so a lot of great people still.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody you lost touch with that you were tight with? Do you remember? We've been able to connect a few people, so.
No, for the most part, I've stayed in touch with, the guys that are your friend. Facebook's been amazing. I mean, not
Mhm.
only just for this. I mean, another shameless plug, Frank Oliveri and I were really good friends after high school. He owner of Pat Steaks,
Oh, wow.
um, and via Facebook we've been able to connect again. I go back, I see him, and he actually has a place down here in Florida as well. Um, but for the most part, I nobody that I was really, really good friends with. I mean, we've lost a lot of people.
Hmm.
Um, Robin, of course,
Yeah,
recently, but Bill Tassione,
right.
who was just a super, super guy. Mike Madrin.
Hmm.
Um, probably the list, can go on with,
Yeah,
the number. It makes you think about how lucky we are, how blessed we are, to be here and so on and so forth. But for the most part, I've been able to reconnect. And anybody that wants to reconnect, you can find me on Facebook. I love seeing these stories and hearing about all the different things that people have done,
yeah,
are doing.
yeah,
It's so cool, so cool.
yeah. Do you have a standout memory or either around high school or outside of high school, right around that time that sticks with you?
Well, I do remember Karen Higgins got me in trouble. I got in trouble. Um, Senior cut day, I think we went to like the zoo or something like that. She posted a picture of it a long time ago. I have no pictures, by the way,
Yeah.
from when we were all in high school. Anybody has pictures that has me in it, send me, please. But I, I guess I may have cut a few classes prior to that, or missed a few classes, and I got called in by, I think Mr. Lyons was
Tug
the
lines. Yeah.
yeah, and basically said, if you want to graduate high school, um, you're going to need to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
One of them was setting up the chairs at graduation and stuff like that. So
Free
it wasn't
labor
enough
is what
for
you
that.
had to do in order to
Yeah,
graduate.
yeah. So I think that was the stupidest thing that I got in trouble for. But besides the craziness that we had with Otto Krupp and Miss
Yeah.
Muir,
Yeah.
I actually had both of them
Oh, really?
as teachers. Yeah, he was my summer school teacher,
Oh,
um, and I had Miss Muir for science, the year prior.
right.
But other than that, it was a um, I don't want to say non-eventful because we all learned and we grow from what we learned.
Sure.
But nothing huge in school. I loved my senior year because
Yeah.
I did get involved with the dance because it was something that I really loved to do and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But nothing that stood out. Coaching. I mean, being the captain of football and
Of
baseball and
course.
basketball.
Of course.
Yeah, that
Of
was
course.
those were nothing compared to this.
Have you ever gone back into the building?
No, I have driven by.
Yeah.
Um, I went back with my kids and my wife on a visit. We drove by the old house and I stood out in front of the old house. Oof, it's heavily
Yeah.
hurt. Shouldn't do that. Um, this
Impressive
is where,
range of motion, though.
yeah, it's only a little over 6 weeks, so it's not so bad. By the way, Nancy Levy, get well. She just had the same surgery.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I saw that.
um,
Yeah.
but uh, so I went by my old house in Surrey Place East. I lived literally right across the street from Eddie Denkin.
Oh, okay.
Um, we used to play hockey out in the
Yeah.
cul-de-sac by his house, and we actually used to play a lot of hockey with Dave Janoski and Barry Dudnick and Howard Goldfrat and all these
Hmm.
guys that just were great guys and all of them were in, a lot of them were in SAR.
Yeah.
But then we went by the school, and I was amazed. I thought it was huge. It
Right.
is pretty big, but I was just amazed, that reminiscing back to it. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, real good stuff.
That's great. So we're back in 1980 and you're looking out. We've just graduated. Is this where you saw yourself?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I had no idea what I wanted to do in high school. After high school, my mom wanted me to go to comedian school, to be an actor.
Oh,
I
there aren't a lot of
I
parents who
loved.
push kids in that direction. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, she knew that college wasn't for me after I came back and uh, you know did what I did. But she always, I was always joking and always happy-go-lucky kind of a guy, and really would have loved to have done that. I wish I would have acted in school, in high
Hmm.
school. I really wish that I would have done that. I think that I would have enjoyed that, but I had no idea what I was going to do, and I fell into these things,
Hmm.
and I'm so lucky that I have. I mean, it's afforded me, the ability to do a lot of things in life that many others haven't been able to do, and so on and so forth. But I had no idea what I was going to do. Still don't know what I want to do.
When you grow up, you're not sure.
Yeah, never going to grow up. I'm I'm a Toys R Us kid.
There you go. There you
You
go.
know.
Best piece of advice you'd go back and give your 18-year-old self, or maybe you gave your 18-year-old kids.
If I was giving it to myself, would be buy Google and buy and buy Bitcoin. um, it's funny because I bought Bitcoin when it first came out, and I don't know, I made a couple $1,000s, and I look back and I think about I'd be a multi-billionaire right now if I would have just held on to it. But um, besides stupid stuff like that, I would say don't be afraid. Um, it's okay to be different. Not everybody matures at the same rate. As you can see, I'm still trying to mature, but it's okay um, to be yourself and not be scared um, to let people in. Like I said, I was shy. I didn't really let a lot of people in until my senior year, and I wish that um, somebody would have told me the same thing back then. Because
Yeah.
I see all these interviews that you're doing, and I'm like, wow, wish I would have known that person more. Um, and it makes me sad that I didn't,
Hmm.
because there were a lot of us, a lot of people that you wave to, and that was it.
Yeah.
Or you give the old head nod,
Yeah.
head nod. Yeah, how's it going?
That's
You
right.
know, like they do with the birds, go birds, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But
Yeah.
um, I just wish that I would have been a little bit more outgoing uh, back then. You
Yeah.
know.
So, Paul, you have something you want to show the class?
Yes. So years and years ago, I forget where I was. I was doing something, and I found a site, and I ordered a T-shirt. I've had this for I don't know how many years. It's been sitting in my closet,
Oh, wow.
and I wear it every now and then. And it's funny. Um, I am I'll wear it, and I'm out at a restaurant, or I'm just walking around in the mall or something like that. And say, Cherry Hill. I went to Cherry Hill. I lived in Cherry Hill, or something like that. So I found that in my closet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta bring this on. So
Oh,
it
that's a
was
great
pretty
memory.
funny.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet. All right. Excellent. All right. Well, here we are. Fast and Furious finish.
Right.
Uh, any thoughts on your favorite TV show or movie or perhaps book?
I guess TV shows. I was big into the Hogan's Heroes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
McHale's
yeah,
Navy back
yeah,
then.
yeah,
I used to
yeah.
love watching those. I've heard a lot of people say Saturday Night Live. So I
Mm.
never really watched Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't something I did, but I really love those TV shows.
Hmm.
Movies, um, I was big into watching Rocky
Oh yeah.
and The
Yeah.
Godfather and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, those are some of my favorite, still are some of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of all times.
Yeah. How about music? Did you have a genre, an artist, or an album?
So, like all Jewish kids back in the '70s, late '70s, everybody loved Bruce and Billy Joel and stuff like that. So I always loved listening to both of those artists. But I was huge into the disco. I
Okay.
loved Michael Jackson. I
Yeah.
just, and to this day, I still think that he is one of the greatest artists of all time, but greatest performers. But now my music has changed. I
Hmm.
still love the disco. I could turn the volume
Yeah.
on my
Oh,
car
here,
up
I'm
and
gonna
blast it. But
time to plug Heaven's Edge.
yes, absolutely.
Go Reggie.
Shout out to Reggie.
Yeah.
Never was into the real heavy rock and roll back then, but
Hmm.
started listening to my daughter got me listening to country music,
Okay.
and I just love country music right now, and it just is so soothing to
Hmm.
me to be able to listen to it. And I can listen to Pavarotti. I could listen to Louis Prima. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But I love all genres. But back then it was more the disco.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Did you have a favorite place to hang out with friends, either to eat or just a place that you all hung out at?
Well, during high school, not really as much. But right after high school,
Hmm.
of course, we'd go to the coastline.
Yeah.
But afterwards, we'd always go to the diner
Hmm.
over at it was the Diamond Diner,
Oh yeah.
which was I think over by uh, uh, the racetrack circle.
Hmm.
We go after work or after clubbing, whatever. We sit there, 3 o'clock in the morning, just cracking up and
Yeah.
laughing, and walking in the house at 4:30 in the morning, and mom looking at like, the hell you think you're doing,
Yeah.
you know. But during high school, we used to always ride our bikes to 7-Eleven or to
Hmm.
to McDonald's or
Yeah.
stuff like that. But really, after high school, it was when I started hanging out and doing more things.
All right. Let's see. Oops, just lost this. Here we go. Remember this guy? All
Oh
right.
boy, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, had the Jufro going. Definitely had it going there.
It's a nice picture, yeah. You liked it?
Yeah, yeah. I liked it when I cut it off. I definitely liked the shorter hair a lot better. I think in my
Yeah.
senior those were taking
I
early
think
on.
spring of junior year, I think we came to the
Yeah,
conclusion.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're taking in junior year. Senior year, that hair was gone.
Okay.
More of the look that I still have today.
Okay.
Um, but I don't regret it. I mean, it was me. You know, pretty funny looking back at that. Oh boy.
Yeah. So, what's your number for how many people were we in class with? Did you have a estimate?
I'm gonna go 937.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah.
I,
So
I
we
have no idea, but
Yeah, it was large, right?
yeah.
It's yeah. So
Has
that's
anybody ever taken out the book and
I
counted?
so funny. I took the commencement book and did a little math and came up with 776. So I said I'm guessing number that we've all come up with, a lot of people have come up with 777. So Judy Katz just did the math and came out very close to that as well. So I think we're um yeah, I think
It
right
was
in
a
there.
big
Not quite.
class,
It was a big class. It was definitely a big
which
class.
is why a lot of us didn't know
Oh,
a lot of
each
other people. There were like
yeah.
so many people.
Yeah. Big
Um,
school, big class. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, and
So
a great,
any
great
oh,
town.
so,
By the way, it was a
what's
great
that?
town.
Yeah.
Cherry Hill was a great place.
Yeah. So lastly, anything you want to say to anybody, everybody who might be listening, your parting shot, as it were?
Really, I don't know. We I miss a lot of people. Um, I miss um, some of the friends that we used to hang out with, and um, the going out and dancing and at the coastline and stuff like that. I mean, uh, uh, you know, nothing real like a parting shot. I
Mhm.
just hope that everybody gets a chance to come on here and do this, because to be able to hear everybody's stories is just so heartwarming.
Yeah.
um, to hear about the trials, the tribulations, the joy of what's going on over the years for everybody is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right. I
and
appreciate the plug.
Karen Higgins, um, I was not with you that night. I did not get in trouble. Um, I may have been there early on and left, but
Yeah.
we won't get into that. She's already discussed that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Paul, thank you so much. I wish you the best with your rehab. I'm sure it's going to go great. And yeah, I look forward to catching up with you next spring at the reunion. And if I find myself in Boca Raton, I'll give you a shout.
Please, I'd love to. Anybody that's down here, love to get together, have a drink, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
speaking of getting together and having drinks,
Yeah.
I forgot. Brian Lane
Yeah.
surprised my daughter at Rocco's Tacos. She works at Rocco's Tacos over in Naples, and that's where he's at. And
Yeah.
actually, he told me he's over there. I'm like, go say hello to my daughter. He went and he
Oh,
he
that's
said hello to
great.
my daughter when he was over there, which was really really cool. So,
All
shout out to
right.
him again. He's a great guy, really
All
great.
right. Well, get him to come on. All right.
All right,
Thanks, Paul.
all right. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and the early 80s. A shout out to my cousin Brad Corbett, whose podcast We Weren't Friends in High School inspired me to do this podcast and whose advice and encouragement have been so helpful. Thanks also to my husband, Randy Cockdale, who read all the fine print on the podcast hosting website so I wouldn't have to. And thanks to Jeff Lyons, content consultant and guinea pig, and to Deborah Smead, also content consultant. And thank you to all our classmates who are listening in. See you next week.